Holy sheet rock, baby. Monica McNutter Butter has damn lost her mind, showing once again the problem with the WNBA and why we have to completely clean house, clear out the closet, out with the old, in with the new. The WNBA is never going to be able to move forward the way a professional sports league should if we continue to allow people like Monica McNutt to cover the WNBA. ESPN, what are you doing? What are you doing? I get you have some issues because you suck at what you do and you've gone from covering sports to being a media organization that covers politics through sport, and nobody wants it. It's being rejected. People are tuning you out. They're not watching you. Some are still tuning in for games because thanks to your cable scam, you have a lot of money to pay for the rights. But people don't want to watch your BS when it comes to sports because you always inject. I hate using the word politics because then you immediately are we're putting people into camps and they're going to dismiss or embrace certain things. But let me say, how about culture? How about divisive culture in terms of what you cover? And Monica McNutt is a great example. The WNBA is a great example of how that is constantly happening, and people are tired of it. Monica McNutt is asked about some things Caitlin Clark said recently about how she is covered and what people talk about and how it can be emotionally exhausting for her. And Monica? Wait, is that from Friends? Anyway, go watch Shark Week. So Monica McNutt is asked about that, and she cannot get out of her feels for 2 seconds and put herself into Caitlin Clark's shoes and honestly analyze what it is Caitlin Clark says. She is completely dismissive of what Caitlin Clark says. We got to break this down. All right, we got to break this down. Take a listen to this.
Honest reflection, but in totality, Monica, we don't often get to hear Caitlin Clark's perspective in quite this level of honesty. And this is an important conversation to continue to have with empathy for everybody involved. So listening to that, what was your reaction?
I thought the choice, the word of being fearful of the conversation after a game that she alluded to was interesting because oftentimes it seems, at least in the larger discourse, and not that there's not an emotional experience for Caitlin Clark, because I believe that it is, but it's the folks that are accused of doing something outside of the parameters of competition that are actually the ones that are fearful when you look at their social medias.
This is disgusting. Again, I use words like disgusting and vile a lot. Really never did my entire life until I had to talk about the WNBA. Monica, speaking of empathy, Monica McNutt has zero empathy for Caitlin Clark. This is arrogantly dismissive of what Caitlin Clark said. She immediately goes, "Oh yeah, I'm sure for Caitlin Clark, but hey, how about those poor peeps who are physically and criminally assaulting her on the basketball court? What about their feelings? What about what they have to deal with?" Monica McNutt, did you forget the part where Caitlin Clark had an actual stalker who was arrested? We talk about the media's false characterizations of who Caitlin Clark is and her fans, by the way, and right away, right away, because she is so low IQ, so all up in her feels, so completely brainwashed into what she believes that she immediately goes right into falsely characterizing Caitlin Clark. The arrogance in Monica McNutt's analysis, and we'll get into that. I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit, but when watching this type of crap just really works me up. ESPN from day one really has not covered Caitlin Clark. It's all about this fictional narrative, this fictional version of Caitlin Clark that they put together, and then they can attack that version. It has nothing to do with nothing to do with the real Caitlin Clark or her fans. Who, by the way, none of this was talked about when she played in college. This is not analysis in any way. This is not journalism in any way, shape, or form. So let's keep going. I'm probably getting ahead of myself. She's got me all worked up. We only got about 30 seconds left.
This is what I will say. Caitlin Clark is 24. She is a shining star in the galaxy of the WNBA. But I do think as she continues to matriculate through this league, there's room for a little bit more accountability and self-awareness in terms of her role in the larger sisterhood, if she sees it that way.
What the freaking hell are we talking about? Here we go again with absolute gibberish. Everything is Caitlin Clark's fault. Caitlin Clark needs to speak out on every nut job on social media that says something that goofballs, that DEI hires, that absolutely unqualified, incompetent fools like Monica McNutt want her to talk about. This is absolutely absurd. Hey, let me tell you something right now. I stand on this. I do not have all the receipts, but I 100% believe that Caitlin Clark alone gets more hate and more threats via social media than the entire WNBA combined, and fools like Monica McNutt never acknowledge it and never talk about it. That I'm not even sure they think it actually happens when you get into the delusion of their head and you start talking about white supremacy and all this other nonsense. But Caitlin Clark, grown woman, doesn't talk about it. She doesn't play victim. She doesn't answer all of the crazy stuff. I mean, again, has she even acknowledged ever the stalker that was arrested? No. It got to the point where Caitlin said, hey, you know what? I think we need to get the authorities involved. She did that behind the scene. The authorities got involved, quietly did their job, and we didn't hear about it. Now, people kind of knew that this guy was unhinged. For those who knew, who you know discovered his tweets and were following that, but this was basically handled the way it should be, professionally, behind the scenes. Caitlin not out there playing victim, but Monica McNutt is going to say, "Oh, whoa, no, man, it's emotionally exhausting for the people who attack Caitlin Clark on the court because they get backlash via social media." Yeah, because they're always playing victim, like Chelsea Gray did with her nonsense that had nothing to do with the fever. There was that insane craziness with Antonio Brown back in the day, and some of the things she said, to the point where Caitlin Clark even blocked Antonio Brown. And by the way, for those who don't know, Antonio Brown, and if you don't follow football, he was a great NFL wide receiver, but he was also a lunatic. And, the guy has millions of followers, but never heard anything from people like Monica McNutt talking about what Caitlin Clark has gone through, right? We had reporters who cover the WNBA talking about how she looks like a man, reporters covering the WNBA who say she looked like a school. You ride a scooter, but that is not the word. Sorry, again, it's YouTube, y'all. They don't like certain words and phrases, which is why I try and go around them and use things like unalive when we talk about things. I think one time Jamel Hill, another loon, even she put out there about how, this stuff doesn't happen to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark doesn't get hate. Now, then Caitlin Clark had her stalker get arrested. Did Jamel Hill come stand on that? Did she come out like they always want Caitlin Clark to do about some loon posting something? Did she come out and say, hey, you know what? I was all up in my feels because I'm a brainwashed loon. I'm culturally appropriating hair. But I want to apologize because clearly I was wrong about Caitlin Clark and what she goes through. No, of course not.
In the WNBA. But Malika, I agree with her 100%. It is certainly exhausting for all of us who really want to celebrate where this league is and the beautiful basketball that is being played. Yeah. This larger discourse that can be very disappointing.
Yeah, and I think that we all have a responsibility.
Wow, yeah. Oh, I agree it's emotionally exhausting because look at all the crap, and we just want Monica, you're 100% the problem. You never talk about basketball. By the way, that beautiful basketball we saw a lot in the All-Star game, that was a complete embarrassment for the WNBA. And I'm not even talking about the lack of defense. I'm talking about the horrifically bad offense, even with a lack of defense. Except, of course, Caitlin Clark. Now, I might use some of that. I didn't do an All-Star game reaction because it didn't, like, why? But there was some stuff from there with Caitlin Clark that I want to use. I'll probably do a video when I get a chance with film breaking down um, some things in Caitlin Clark's game and why she's so damn important in a basketball game and what she does for teammates just by being out there. But yeah, again, ESPN, clean up, man. Monica McNutt is somebody who should be gone. She's not somebody who should be on ESPN. She's an embarrassment for you. She turns viewers off. WNBA, you better get it together too. I mean, I know you can't control who is at ESPN, but you need to do something when it comes to the coverage of your league. You need to change the narrative away from the Caitlin Clark hate and the victimhood and get it back to the basketball and celebrate what Caitlin Clark brings to the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. Come on now. We're closing in on 17,000 of you wonderful people. I will talk to you later.